this is Zia Pirani performing at the 62nd Bellaire Forensic Tournament for novice poetry. Judge ready?
Ready.
She always smacked her big red gum hard as she waltzed into class, her jaws working in vivacious determination as she chewed with forced effort. Her spiked leather collar was dark black, like the heavy eyeliner that encircled her icy blue eyes that were dubbed purple behind tinted contacts. Her spiked stiletto heels with a metal skull superglued to each toe made long black marks on the marble imitation tile floor and made loud clicking noises that echoed down the hall like hoofbeats. Her hair was dyed ebony black with thin purple streaks, the color of nothing natural and everything man-made. None of us go through life unscathed. Dealing with tragedy is unavoidable. Difficulty doing so is common for teens. For some, a goth subculture may be attractive, as it allows them to find a community within which would make it easier for their distress to be understood. Often, teens would rather the world focus on their outside appearance than their inward struggle. We may feel incredible pain, but do not show it for fear of being mocked. These problems can cause people to dramatically change. In this poem, we see a girl known as Mystery, whose life tragedies have altered both her appearance and her ability to relate to others, but hopefully not forever. Mystery Thawing by Heather M. Walker. The color of nothing natural and everything man-made, that stood in dark contrast against her smooth china, pale porcelain face, chiseled with china doll features, and cheekbones that were high and defined, and garnished with a generous helping of purple-red blush, and her lips that were painted twilight purple and outlined by thick black eyeliner. Her fishnets were tight and black, and her tiny leather skirt that came 1 inch from being obscene was tight, purple, and shiny, and squeaked when she walked, and jingled the gold-linked chain she used as a belt against her silver zippers and shiny buckles of her $875 leather jacket that was specially imported to her from a top designer in France named Pierre de Vassio that no one had ever heard of, but she thought was cool because it was French leather, and took her almost 2.5 years to save up for. Everyone looked up as she walked into the class, up from their books about the Salem witch trials and George Washington's cherry tree and other things like the laws of relativity that no one ever needs to know, to stare into her eyes, normally hard and icy, and even hell in its mighty fury couldn't melt, though everyone was most sure it burned in her veins. She called herself Mystery ever since 9th grade, and tattooed a fire-breathing snake on the right side of her neck that crawled seductively down her shirt to wrap itself around her left hip bone. Today, something captivated our attention as Mystery sat in her chair. Maybe it was because she didn't cross her legs seductively like she did every day, in every class, every time she sat down, or because her jaw stopped chewing her gum, and she let it sit hard and wet on her tongue, instead of her consistent chewing that was always as much part of her as her dragon snake tattoo. Or maybe it was because her eyes looked different today, behind her purple-tinted contacts, like the ice had melted momentarily. Murmurs hummed in the background as books of Aleister Crowley and Newton closed, and all attention focused on Mystery, whose eyes were focused obliviously with a metal skull in it with a knife in its eye, superglued to the tip of her left 4-inch heel shoe. I remember the summer of 9th grade, when her boyfriend and brother were shot to death at a robbery at a gas station in Boston, and she was there to see it all, and blamed herself because she got away and could do nothing to help them live. She told me once she thought it should have been her, losing her life on the cold tile floor. Her hair had been like blonde then, her eyes as blue as pure gas flame. Her flesh was not marred with tattoos, and she wore jeans and sweaters and Nike sneakers, and only wore makeup on formal occasions. That summer, and ever since kindergarten, we had been best friends. We talked about Corey White, whom we secretly swore would become a plumber because he wore his pants like one. We used to play Barbie and dress up like movie stars in our mother's formal gowns, and recite lines in old black and white movies, and smoke long pencil cigarettes and make our parents laugh. I remember in 3rd grade, we saw Bambi, and she cried her eyes out when his mother got shot. I remember the red-orange plastic walkie-talkies we had and used to talk really late past our bedtimes because it made us feel cool and didn't ring like the phone and wake our parents up. I remember the time she stole a pack of gum from a Shell station and almost got caught and swore never to chew that brand again. But that changed because she's been chewing it for 3 years now. She never cried at the funerals, and no one saw her cry at a sad movie anymore. She never talked to anyone unless it was to criticize or curse at someone. Or maybe just life in general. Everyone thought she was hard and tough and never needed anyone. She even stopped talking to me and decided to call herself Mystery, to dye her hair purple and black and be hard. But today, she looked different. For the first time in too long, a silver tear fell from her eye and smeared her eyeliner down her pale cheek. And for a moment, I saw the blue in her eyes peek out from behind her purple shoes. And I saw what she fought so hard to hide. Fear. Pain. Someone whispered, "It's been 3 years." Someone else asked what made her finally cry. And in the back of my head, a tiny voice said, "She's thawing." I walked to her desk, remembering how she used to be, and wrapped my arms around her shoulders, amazed when she returned the hug and sobbed like a child losing innocence. But I only smoothed out her hair, too black, and coaxed her as classmates gawked in astonishment at her sudden display of emotion. I never cared that her eyeliner stained my sweater, or that people in the hall stopped to look in, or the teacher just called our names for the 5th time. I just bent down to her ear and whispered tenderly, softly, so only she could hear. "Welcome back, Sarah.